Let's take a look at the Bersa Thunder 380. Now this is a fairly inexpensive pistol made by Bersa out of Argentina. It's kind of designed to look like a Walther PPK, although it doesn't function like one internally, and most would argue that it's not actually made as well. But it is a pretty popular concealed carry gun just because of its size, the cost, and also the fact that it's in 380, which makes the recoil on it very manageable for a gun of this size. It's got an aluminum frame on it, so it's got more weight on it than a polymer framed pistol of a similar size would have. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a look at what's going on with this guy. Alright, so before I get into anything else on it here, I've got one magazine here, no ammunition, and as you can see, there are no rounds inside of it, so it is clear. Now you can see that this is a hammer-fired pistol here. As you pull the trigger, this hammer here will pop up into place there. As the slide racks back, you'll see it bring down the hammer, and as it goes forward, leave the hammer cocked there so that it can fire again. It does hold open on an empty magazine like this. The controls you have on this side will be the safety, the mag release, and the slide release. You'll see that the safety on this also doubles as a decocker. Now, one thing that is very interesting on these is that it has a magazine safety in it, which means if the magazine is in when you pull the trigger, it will go bang like it's supposed to. However, if you drop the magazine out, it won't go. And once you put the magazine back in, it will work. One interesting thing that I've noticed is if you bring back the hammer while you have the magazine out of there and then drop it out, then put the magazine back in, it will take the second trigger pull for it to actually go off there. That's a little interesting. I'm not sure what's up with that. The magazine safety is controlled by this little bar right here. You can feel that that's spring loaded and pushed in there, pushes to the down position. There's a notch right here on the magazine that lines up with that pushes that bar up. So that bar is not up in the proper position when it's out like that. So it won't go fire here, but when the magazine goes in with the little notch on it, it will, once again after the second trigger pull, go bang. It also has a trigger lock on it here, similar to the much hated ones that you find on many of the Smith & Wesson revolvers. It's got a little key that fits in there, can take it from fire to safe, for whatever that's worth. And it's got pretty decent sights on it there. The rear sights are adjustable, so you can adjust windage on it pretty easy. On this side, the only thing you have going on is the disassembly latch right there. There are a number of different grips for these. The ones that came with it were these that just fit on either side. I got these rubberized ones that have the finger grooves on it that I really like. You've also got some options from Crimson Trace for a laser to go on there. I had this on for a while, but really haven't found a lot of use for it, and I'm not carrying this all the time, so I kind of like the finger grooves on there and just like the feel of the rubberized grip. So let's go ahead and open this guy up and take a look at it. You're going to want to take the grips off. To get the slide off, you go with this disassembly latch right there. Pull that down, then the slide will pull back, up, and forward. That comes off, and you got this spring here. One side of this spring is tapered down a little bit larger than the other, so that small end was the one that came in there. Then you got some stuff going on in here. Now this bar right here can be taken out just by taking something flat, pushing that up. Then this can pull forward and that can go off. That will allow you to get this off right here. And if you felt like taking it out, there's a little spring right in there. I'm not going to pull it out, but if you feel like it, you can. That's most all you really need to do to be able to get into it to clean it. Now, one thing that did happen on mine that seems pretty common is for this spring right here to break. Now, I went ahead and ordered another one to put in there, and I found that I had a little bit of an issue because that one was actually kind of, this one was kind of just stamped into the frame a bit there with something, and I wasn't sure how to go about putting that back in there. And I found if you get it in place there, it more or less just kind of holds itself in there and doesn't really come out. So all it takes is just a little bit of super glue along there. And I know that sounds weird, and it's not like the gun's being held together with super glue. You just got super glue in it there so that when you take it apart, this doesn't come flying out. It becomes kind of a pain to get it back in that groove all the time like it's supposed to be. So I pretty much just put a little super glue there, and that holds it into place. So what we'll do to get this piece back on would be where this is curved down here. We've got the hole right there. The hole, this little end of the spring right there goes in that. This will go under this spring up here. You'll have to play with this to get it on the spring where it's supposed to be. And you'll see that that just kind of sits there, and that can push up and down there. And if you look at this, on what's going on with this guy, where this would sit at, you see that there's right here on the top of this, behind it, a little groove right there, that little piece that sticks out slides along in. And basically, that piece there goes in that groove. When it's in this position here, that piece is right along inside that groove, and that doesn't allow this bar to go all the way there so the hammer can't drop. When this is pushed up just a bit with the magazine, what that does then is that little piece at the top of that is riding above this, and then that can move completely the whole way freely, and then that does allow the hammer to go down. Now, I'm not supposed to talk about how to modify firearms here on YouTube, but I'll allow you to imagine what the ramifications of removing that bar would be. Once we get that in there, we'll need to get this piece back in. That piece will go right there. There's a little groove right there that pin that I had to remove and put back in there goes along into. So this will go into that groove right there. That goes under that wheel there, and then this will go into this spot. You'll have to pull the trigger to the right spot where that can go back into it. So we'll push that into place there. It'll take this a little bit to set, but you'll kind of feel when that has pushed down in there all the way. If that has some go, then you're going to need to play with the trigger some and get it to go into its spot right. Go ahead and take our spring here. That just slides back on once again with that smaller end right there. Take this guy, pull down the disassembly lever. You might have to pull down the disassembly lever with one finger and push that in with the other to get the slide to go back on. But that will get it there, and that will get it into place. And we can go ahead and take a magazine here, give it a test, and we'll go ahead and show you here just so you can see how that all functions there. And that's basically how that goes back together. So now we'll just want to put our grips back on it. And that's got it all back together now. So that shows you a little bit about how this works and how it functions on the inside there. If you found this video interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. You can also leave a comment down in the comments section and let me know anything that you thought about it or any questions that you have. And you can also subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you catch all the videos that I post and not miss anything. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.